Hello, hello. How's everybody? Welcome to Candid Keto, where we're going to talk about all things keto. And today we have some really cool stuff to share with you. So I'm here with Leslie Lane Peabody. How are you doing, Leslie?
Hey, Olivia, it's great. We're out here in the sunshine. We decided to do this outside today, and I am loving it.
Yeah, me too. It's gorgeous. It's a beautiful morning here in Charleston. We had a huge rainstorm and it just broke our heat pattern, and it's just lovely out now. So I'm psyched to be outside too. So, intermittent fasting, you guys. What do you,
Intermittent fasting. Who knows what it is? Raise your hand. Do you know what it is?
I know what it is. So what is Leslie, what is it?
Intermittent fasting is that thing that I never thought I could do when I was eating the standard American diet. You know, your dietitians tell you not to do it. They tell you breakfast is the most important meal of the day. They tell you that you've got to eat calories throughout the day or you're going to be ravenous and way overeat when you finally do eat. It wasn't until I got into a keto community that the birds started singing, and I learned a new way of life, a way of life that doesn't have me chained to eating all the freaking time.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, when you start doing this? One of the things that I've realized is how much time in a day I was spending dealing with food preparation and just thinking about what to eat. And then having that experience, which I think we've all had, of sort of just not being conscious of what you're eating. You eat something and it didn't satisfy you at all. So then you're looking for the next thing to eat. And then the next thing you know, you're sort of in a sugar carb pattern and it's really hard to get out of it unless you do something different. And so Leslie and I have been doing something different. And at home, Brian and I have been doing something different. And I thought it would be fun. Leslie and I thought it'd be really cool at this point to share this stuff with you if you're not familiar with what intermittent fasting is and what it can do for you. So, do you want to take it or do you want me to? Well, let me go ahead since I'm
Yeah, you
talking.
go ahead and talk about the facts. I'm going to call Olivia Science Girl because she has all the good stuff that I don't care about. Don't tell my children because I don't really like science.
That's all right. You don't have to like science. I don't know very much really, but I do. I am kind of interested in it, and um, there's a lot of really interesting science if you care about it, about intermittent fasting and what it does for you. But just to sum it up in a sort of less scientific way, what happens is at about 10 to 12 hours of not eating, your body starts to shift into it releases a hormone. I believe it's a hormone, maybe a molecule. See, I'm not science girl, you guys, but it's called BDNF, and this is something that helps build and strengthen your neurons and your neuron connections. So what they found is that people who do intermittent fasting, um, which is usually 16 to 18 hours of non-eating per day. We'll go into that more in a minute. But people who do this um, have found that it's really helping reduce memory loss in people with early onset dementia. So within 6 weeks, they have found remarkable improvements in memory for people like that. It's also incredibly good for weight loss and energy. So here's what we've been doing. I'll just tell you our story because I think it's really interesting. I did intermittent fasting once before, about 3 months ago, maybe. I didn't really stick with it, and but it was really effective while I was doing it. But we did another reboot, a 60-hour sort of metabolic cleanse recently, and coming out of that, I decided it was a great time to start intermittent fasting again. So here at home, Brian and I decided to do that. Now we've done it a little differently. And I wanted to share that with you guys because what we're doing basically is at least 18 hours of non-food per day, but we're waiting until 7 o'clock at night, basically. Around 6:30 to 7, we're eating dinner. And that's been our first meal of the day since last Wednesday. So
God
7 days. Sneeze.
bless you, Brian.
God bless you, honey. He's laughing. So 7 days, you guys. And really, like Leslie said, this was something she didn't think she could do. And I didn't think so either. And Brian really didn't think so, because Brian really, when his blood sugar drops, he feels it more than some people. We vary in that, but he has trouble, and has always thought that fasting was something that would be impossible, but he's done it this week with no trouble. Um, a couple of times we've had a little protein snack, like about 5:30 in the afternoon, a little piece of cheese or a boiled egg. But generally throughout the week, I think that's happened 2 of the days. Other than that, we have eaten dinner, a keto dinner, lazy keto, and we have a snack, because Brian and I both, after dinner, we kind of hang around. We're doing different projects or watching a movie or whatever we're doing. We like to have a snack, and that's just how it is. I've tried to not do that. I'm miserable. I want my snack. But what we've done is, because of the metabolic shift that occurs with intermittent fasting, the cravings are so much harder to handle. They're almost non-existent. And I really don't have cravings anymore after dinner. But I do feel like, since we're only having that one meal, we deserve and probably need a little something more. So we're having things at night, like just a handful of nuts, or the other night we had sliced turnips, raw turnips, really thin, in salted ice water. If you've never done that, it's like more addicting than potato chips.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to totally do that.
Really, really thin,
It's
really, really
time for a
thin.
cooking video, Olivia.
I'll do it. It takes 2 seconds, but so you can really plan snacks that are going to fit in beautifully. Another thing we had the other night was sliced cucumbers with this little olive. It was a muffaletta thing from the deli at the grocery store. So it was chopped up olives and peppers on a cucumber slice. It was wonderful. So anyway, that's what we've been doing, that kind of thing, starting at 7. So our eating window is more like 5 hours. If we're up late, we have something maybe closer to bedtime. But the dinners we've had, okay, I'm going to read you a couple of our dinners.
Yes, do. I can't wait to hear.
The first,
Olivia and Brian cook amazingly. You guys are going to be so jealous, like I am.
well, we've been having fun with it, and we do both like to cook a lot. I'm very lucky because he cooks mostly. So Friday, or last Wednesday, we had for dinner salmon with caper sauce, asparagus, mushrooms, and a caprese salad. So tomatoes and fresh mozzarella. Um, the second day, we made homemade chicken parmesan with some fresh sauce from some farmers market tomatoes and fresh mozzarella and organic chicken. He breaded it with almond flour. It was fantastic. Then we had a rotisserie chicken. With the parmy, we had rice pasta, 0 carb. So then we've had a rotisserie chicken with salad, and we've had roast pork. We did eat breakfast on Sunday, and it was delicious. We had bacon and eggs. No carbs really, but just the bacon and eggs. Last night, you guys, oh my God, Leslie, we did I bought a flank steak, and Brian marinated it in like an Asian kind of marinade, and we did a Korean barbecue. Bulgogi, is that what it's called? Bulgogi, or anyway, and it was delicious. We did it on the tabletop outside. We ate dinner for like an hour, just grilling little strips of meat, and we had a kale salad and sliced tomatoes, cucumbers, and avocado. It was the best. And here's the best part. So we started doing this, and it's been a week, and I have lost. I don't think Brian's weighed himself, but I've lost 7.8 pounds in a week. And I mean,
8 pounds?
yeah, so almost 8 pounds, but it's not even that. Like, I don't really care. I know I like that. I love that fact, because I know I'm doing the right thing. But the energy, oh my gosh, my energy is through the roof. I'm sleeping great. I'm losing weight, and I've got so much energy. I wake up feeling like, oh God, it's a new day. Yay. What are we going to do today? What can I get done? And who can I talk to? And doing it this way, shifting the eating window to later, it has worked for us. And I just want to say that, because you can do this however it works for you. be flexible. And we need flexibility in our lives. Otherwise, the plan is going to fail, right?
That is
So
so true.
that's my story. That's what's been happening on John's Island this week. So what's going on with your intermittent fasting? Talk to us.
Oh, that's so important. I love how you said that you need flexibility, because everyone I know that intermittent fasts, which a lot of our community in Keto
Yeah.
Friendly do, right? We have
Yeah.
this fabulous Facebook community called Keto Friendly, and it's a non-judgy community. Everything is allowed. Just don't spam people. Get with Olivia, get with me, find out how to get there, because you are going to love this community. It's
It's a
fabulous.
really awesome community.
Right? But all of us who do intermittent fasting do it differently,
Yeah.
right? Lisa Grossman, who we all know and love, and you may also know her, she doesn't eat keto. She just intermittent fasts, drinks her exogenous ketones, and she got off her, what was it, blood pressure medicine after a year, and she lost like 30 pounds, but she eats bad crap. No, not bad crap. She cooks some really good looking stuff, right?
Yeah.
But she does not eat keto, but she intermittent fasts.
Yeah. It makes a difference. And I didn't say actually for Brian, and you don't mind if I share your number from yesterday, right? He tested his blood yesterday morning, and this is just after 6 days of this intermittent fasting. And his blood was, it was 63. Um, say it out loud. 66. So that's really low for him, and that's without any medication, off medication.
Whoa, that's amazing.
Exogenous ketones and intermittent fasting. It's amazing. So
That is truly amazing. So you talked a little bit about the benefits of intermittent fasting, right? So
yeah,
intermittent fasting is any period where you don't eat for a long period of time, right? So most of us intermittent fast overnight, like for 8 hours when we're sleeping. That's kind of normal for all of us, right?
yeah,
But many of us just keep going because we're feeling good, right?
yeah.
So I was bad and I messed around this weekend. So I knew that Monday when I got to work, I had some heavy duty lifting to do, right? I knew I had to hunker down and probably work an extra long day. And I actually did. I worked 16 hours at the
Wow.
office on Monday. 16 hours.
Do that.
I did that because I know what it feels like in my body. We'd just come off a fast, right? Last Wednesday, I think we got done with our 60-hour fast, and during that period of time, I just felt better and better and better, and I'm like, and then I started eating again Wednesday or Thursday, one of those 2 days. But I remembered how great I felt and how much energy I had, right? And I'm like, okay, you got to do this, girl. How are you going to do this? Well, I decided to fast, right? So Sunday night, I don't know what time I ate or what I ate or whatever, but I knew when I got to work on Monday, I had to hunker down. So I did have a few ketone drinks, exogenous ketones, maybe 2 during that day. And I drank lots of water, but except for getting up to go to the bathroom, to the nearest bathroom, not my 1,300 steps bathroom that I usually use at work, right? I hunkered down and I worked. I didn't eat. I just drank my ketones. Man, I was still going at midnight that night when I was finally able to stop. I did not lose it, and I'm talking to a few people on the phone for 5 minutes. And somebody's like, well, you're going to hit that wall. You're going to crash. No.
You didn't
When
crash.
you are fasting, maybe the first time you fast, but I know now that when I need periods of energy, I fast and I feel amazing. I feel like this, right? I'm jumping off the walls.
I know. I'm ready to go. I might take a walk. Let me interrupt. I might take a walk because my battery's low. So if you see a lot of weird background, I'm just walking inside, but I'm going to wait a sec. But yeah, I mean, the energy is crazy. It's crazy.
It is. And so Olivia gave you the science. I'm going to give you the layman's term, okay? And hold on one quick second. I have to exit my full screen because I have this dictionary term. I want to do a meme because the other day I was sitting talking to my science son, right? I have a science son, and I said this word, and I said it wrong, and oh my gosh, I got the lecture. I don't know if you guys have kids, but I got the lecture. So this is what we're doing, and I want you to listen to it from dictionary.com.
Autophagia.
Autophagia, okay? Autophagy is what we're doing. Autophagy. You need some light, Olivia. So autophagy is what we're doing. And it's like, envision the little Pac-Man guy, right? When he's going, and he eats that blue dot. And then he can chase everything. He's like got all kinds of energy, and he can eat all the monsters.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Intermittent fasting is eating those dang monsters. Right?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah, she is the science one. I'm the weird one. Okay. Well, sometimes she's weird too, though.
Wait,
That's
I'm
why we
the
like
weird
each other.
one. I want to be the weird one too.
I think you are. That's why we love each other so much.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, so it's been amazing. So how do you do your IF, Leslie?
You know, I do IF whenever I feel like it. So one day I'll do IF, one day I won't. I often don't do IF on the weekends, like if I'm out with other people. I'm a social butterfly, right? I love to do social things. So if you saw, like 2 weeks ago, I went to a Rockies game. Go Rockies. You know, I don't care about the Rockies game. It's baseball if you're stupid like me. I happen to know it's baseball because I live in Denver. But
I'd asked.
yeah, we ate these chili dogs, right? I can eat chili dogs once in a while. I had popcorn at the movies once a month or so, maybe twice a month. So I still eat whatever I want to eat. But when I'm not with anybody, when I'm working, when I'm going to the office, it is so freeing. I have a box of exogenous ketones in my desk at work, and I don't even have to take a blood bottle with me because I have one at work and I have one at home. Getting to work just means getting myself ready and then going there. There's ice there, there's water there. I don't have to do anything. That is so freeing. Getting ready without that drama in the morning. The only thing I have to worry about are where are my keys.
Yep. Isn't that refreshing? I mean, it is really freeing. I don't get up and have to really go most mornings, but just the amount of time that I save not thinking about breakfast, not cooking breakfast, and not sitting there. And honestly, I was at the point where I would make breakfast, and although it was a keto breakfast, about an hour later, I'd be starving. And it's really weird because now I don't eat breakfast and I'm not hungry. So it's like
weird.
It's really weird. It's like opposite of everything we thought was true. Like I always thought if you're hungry, I mean, if you're tired, if your energy is dropping, eat some food. My mom actually always said that you can, if you're sleep deprived, you can substitute some food for your sleep. Like it'll give you enough energy. So eat a little more if you're tired. Well, sure, for about a 45 minutes, you feel better and then crash, you know. So this is really different. It's really amazing. I'm not hungry. Like,
right. And it's kind of like, you know, the other week we talked about how we used to eat margarine, maybe not you, but, you know, years ago, margarine used to be better than butter. I think the science is coming around to prove that breakfast is not the most important meal of the day.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, because it makes sense if you wake up and whatever glycogen is remaining in your liver and in your muscles, it makes sense that you put your body into a state where it's burning that stuff off rather than dumping a load of new fat, carbs, protein, you know, for it to deal with. Use up the leftovers, you know.
Right. And it's not when I'm doing a reboot, which is 60 hours, right? So 2.5 days. When I do a reboot, I don't get the energy, the huge energy until day 2 usually.
Yeah. And that's true. And so that's why it's building over the week. And honestly, you know, there's certain, I don't want to get gross, but there are certain effects of when you that your body goes through when you do the 60-hour water wash or the 60-hour reboot,
The spa effect.
spa effect. still happens, not to a point of being inconvenient or awful, but you still can tell that your body is like, that's why one way I tell if my body is in ketosis. This morning I got up and I tested my blood for ketone levels, and I was at a point 0.5, with that is after not eating all night. So the IF is maintaining a level of ketosis for me, despite even though I haven't had my exogenous ketone at that point, hadn't had it. I've had it now, so I'm not at all hungry. But so I know that I'm maintaining a certain level of ketosis through the night, um, even without any ketones added. Just because my body's functioning that way, and you can tell because a little bit of the spa effect. you know, it's
Yeah.
a,
Yes. What
actually I
is
like
the
that. I
spa
like.
effect? Let's talk about that in a non-gross way. You know all those people that like to get the colon cleanses and spend hundreds of dollars to get a colon cleanse?
Uh-huh.
It's not $100.
Okay. I think that you summed it up beautifully.
We can help you for a lot less than $100.
Anyway, it is a cleansing feels good. There are no two ways about that. Cleansing feels great.
Yeah, and on the last reboot where we fasted for 60 hours, I didn't get the spa effect until day 3. So
Right.
day 1 and day 2. So when on a day-to-day basis, I no longer get that because my body has adapted, right? It's like,
Yeah.
just imagine if you were taking a new medicine or something. It takes your body a little time to adjust. So if
Yeah.
you stick with it, then those effects go away unless you do it bigger, right?
Right.
Those effects
Right.
go away unless you eat too much, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone away. So let's talk a little bit about what this can actually do for you. Olivia talked about decreased brain fog or increased focus. I talked a lot about increased focus, right? And all it takes is for you to stop eating. And I promise you, if you start a ketogenic lifestyle, you're going to automatically intermittent fast. When I first started the ketogenic lifestyle, I was never hungry anymore. Were you?
Not nearly as much. Not nearly as much. When I experienced hunger, it was different. It wasn't a craving kind of hunger. It was a need. And it's a different feeling. If you haven't felt that, you should. Everyone should know the difference, I think, because it kind of helps you break that pattern of just eating because you're bored or eating because you're tired or upset. When you are in this state of intermittent fasting and ketosis, you have time and you have sort of the focus to choose the right thing. And food becomes a fuel, but it also is a huge pleasure. Like, food is better. It's not, I mean, I hate for anyone to think, oh my gosh, I couldn't do this because it would upset me not to have food. I don't want to remove food from my life. Like, I like to eat. It's not that way at all, though. Like, I just keep busy during the day. And when it comes to dinner time, we take the time to make something really good that is going to nourish us the right way, and it's hugely pleasurable. Like, you look forward to it in a different way. I don't know how to describe it any other way than that. You're not removing anything from your life. You are adding something by
I
eating.
think, yeah, that is so true because when you're on a low fat diet, everything you eat tastes like cardboard, right?
Awful, awful, awful.
God forbid you make me eat a rice cake,
Oh, those days. I hate those days.
right?
Don't remind me. Don't take me back there.
So now instead of a rice cake with a little peanut butter for dinner, last night, it's called Bob's Chicken. It's at the local Italian eatery.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I still do have cravings, but it's a different craving. Like you said, I really wanted Bob's Chicken. And so Bob's Chicken is a really thin chicken patty, and it has asparagus on the top, and it's got all kinds of butter and cheese.
Oh my God, that sounds so good.
Just amazing. So I had my salad. I did have a little bit of bread. And then it's an Italian restaurant. So I had a bowl of pasta with marinara sauce. And I was done with my chicken. And the guy goes, "You want me to give you a box for that?" I'm like, "I don't need that. No, thank
Yeah.
you."
Yeah.
Because it's the chicken that I was craving, not the pasta. I
Right.
wanted that good
Right.
fat. I wanted that good protein in my body.
I do crave protein at times. It's
Mhm.
different. It's so much fun. And you know what else has changed is we're buying less food because we don't eat leftovers. I used to always think that I wanted to make leftovers, sort of from the days of long ago when I guess I was packing school lunches,
Mhm.
or when Brian was going to work, he would take lunch. So I was in a let's make leftovers mentality. I'm not there anymore. We cook so that we don't really have leftovers. Whatever we have maybe is a little bit of vegetables, and sometimes we just have them out on the counter after dinner and we nibble. But it's not like there's a whole serving of something in the fridge like your pasta would have been, because we don't eat during the day. And when we
Right.
have dinner, it's a celebration and we want something fresh. We're not going to just heat up something, we're going to make something and it's an event. I
It
love it.
is, and it tastes so good. And
So good.
it really is about the fat, you guys. It's the fat that allowed me to eat ketogenically and then to do intermittent fasting, because without that fat, I was ravenous all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, last night we had that Korean beef, and I said I had gotten flank steak. So it was very thin, but flank steak is kind of fatty.
Hmm.
So when we sat down to eat, we were really hungry and really looking forward to it. And we started nibbling on some of the vegetables. And when I had that first bite of beef, I'm not really a big beef eater, but when I had that first bite and that fat, like I ate that first bite of fatty, delicious Korean beef, it was the most satisfying thing. And your body recognizes this is fat. This is what I'm needing right now. And it feels really good and it tastes good. And honestly, I probably ate half of the amount that I would have eaten if I weren't intermittent fasting. And I was totally satisfied.
Right? It is just amazing. Now,
Yeah.
we did talk a little bit about the science. We touched on the science, and then we touched on the fact that the science might be changing. But I think it's important to recognize that when science changes, somebody has to fund it, right? Somebody has to fund studies.
Yep.
Well, guess what? There's no money in us eating real food,
Right.
right? It,
Right.
who will fund a study to show that breakfast is the most important meal of the day? All those breakfast cereal
Of
places,
course. Of course.
right?
All our country runs on corn, right? So there's
Right.
an enormous amount of money tied up in cereal and pancakes, pancake mixes, and all the sugary stuff that's out there, Pop Tarts, everything.
Right. And they have the money to fund studies. And you notice we don't have any new studies coming out. Well,
Right.
it's not because it's not better for you. It's because there is no one to fund a study to show that intermittent fasting is good for you, because who's making money off of it?
Yeah.
No one is
It's
making
harder to
money.
find.
Yeah.
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 It,
So the science is going to be slow.
mhm.
It is. And it may even be non-existent because no one is there to fund it. So don't let that deter you. Do it for yourself. Try
Yeah.
it.
Try it.
See how you feel. Work with your doctor. There are ketogenic doctors in every state in the United States. I don't know about other countries, but there are ketogenic doctors in your area. I have to move from a doctor 5 minutes away to a doctor 45 minutes away. Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'm doing that. I'm in the process of moving because I don't want to be told to eat breakfast, to eat carbs for breakfast when I know how I feel when I don't.
Oh, I know. I know. Honestly, I love my primary physician. He's awesome. But he actually, despite our numbers going down, like despite our numbers looking really good, mine and Brian's, despite the fact that we've told him neither of us is taking certain medication, we said the other day, we were both in the office talking to him, and we said we're taking exogenous ketones, his response, "Oh, don't do that."
Oh my gosh,
Like, oh
right?
no, I don't want to have this discussion. So we sort of, I think, without saying it, he and I kind of agreed to disagree. I think his reaction was, we weren't eating any carbs. I said, no, we're eating carbs, but we're eating less, and we're eating them from vegetables and other kinds of sources, not sugar and not flour, which is basically sugar. So that happens. It's like, I was really, really bummed out. And I came to the conclusion, I talked to some other doctors that I know, and Brian and I kind of decided, you know what, we know what we're doing. We know how we feel. We know what ketosis does for us. And so do 50,000 people, every month, who do the reboot worldwide. So like, there are points in that, you see where the research has not caught up. Like, he just doesn't know because he just hasn't seen the stuff yet. He's a really good doctor, but this stuff has not been put in front of him. And
Well, and
honestly,
he's busy,
he's
right?
busy.
So how does he learn? He learns from the pharmaceuticals who come around to talk to
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
He learns from the seminars that he might go to that are usually promoted, or what do you call it?
Funded, or sponsored.
Sponsored by. That was the word I was looking for. Sponsored by big pharma or big food manufacturers, the Franken foods, right? So who funds the things that he learns about? People who make money off of you staying sick.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I've started to understand that throughout that hospital system, that is the message, because I've seen it in their publications, and it's like the keto diet, and there's really no reason for anyone to do that. Oh,
Right?
well, it's fine. We know, I know. And eventually, like in 3 months, when we go back and we have our sugars tested again, and it's still like looking good, eventually he's going to notice. And maybe that will compel him to go do his own research. I'm not here to do research for people, especially doctors. There's enough out there, and there's also the way we feel. I mean,
Right.
bottom line, I don't want to live any other way than this. Do you? I
No,
mean,
it is amazing because I
yeah,
can do amazing things. And
yeah,
getting on the airplane, think about airplane food and how expensive it is and how bad it is. I don't worry about what I'm going to eat when I get on an airplane anymore. I just take a packet or two of ketones, and I don't care if that airplane is late. I am not ravenous when I land.
yeah, I know. It's you don't have to even worry about that kind of stuff anymore. It's really nice.
No, road trips. I mean, life has been so freeing since I started intermittent fasting. And with the intermittent fasting, I can still be social. I can still eat that cake when somebody brings it if I want to. I
Yeah,
can still do those things because 90% of the time, 80% of the time, I'm not eating. And when I do eat, it's typically higher fat, moderate protein, low carb, and I'm
yeah.
doing great things for my body almost all the time.
Yes, absolutely. And honestly, one thing I really didn't touch on, which I think you're on board with this, is I could not have started this process of intermittent fasting at all if I hadn't had exogenous ketones and to continue with that. I mean, I wouldn't be able to continue it without the exogenous ketones, for the cravings and for the energy and for like keeping me in that deeper state of ketosis that is resulting in this kind of energy and this kind of feeling and this kind of result.
Well, I know that's true for me because I had tried, right? You heard about all these things like the sugar buster diets and this,
Yeah,
that, and the other. I tried those from January through June. I was serious that I was going to change my life last year.
yeah,
And guess what changed? Not a darn thing, no matter how hard I tried, because I get to the end of the night. I do good all day long. I get to the end of the night and I was ravenous. And by then I was eating every damn thing in my fridge and going
hmm.
to the store if I didn't have what I needed.
I know. Yeah, yeah,
I tried, but day one of starting those ketones, and honestly, I started exogenous ketones so that I could lose weight. Okay. And I did lose weight, but I don't care about, you don't hear me spouting off my stats anymore because that's not what made me stay. What made
Right.
me stay was day one, I didn't have to have chocolate for dinner anymore, right? I used popcorn and chocolate, honest to God truth, truth and to God. I ate Coke Zero, popcorn, and chocolate for dinner. That was my dinner. And then occasionally there'd be some actual nutrition in there, but that's what's dinner. That's what I craved, right? I
Yeah.
crave things that are not good for my body.
Right. Right.
So as soon as I started those exogenous ketones, I was able to break that the very first day, where
Yeah.
I spent 6 months mentally beating myself up because I was a failure.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And day one on exogenous ketones, I was able to eat real food for dinner for the very first time without the chocolate, without the soda,
Yeah.
without the popcorn. Day one, I was able to kick my bad carb habit. Day one.
Yep.
Yeah,
Pretty amazing, isn't it?
it is. So you don't need exogenous ketones, but they help,
They
right?
help a lot. Yeah.
You don't need a Lexus, but it's nice to drive.
Yeah.
You can do this. Just go good fats. Go avocados. Put some good fats. Avocados, coconut oil.
Mm-hmm.
We have a different session on
Butter.
oils, butter, cream,
Butter.
heavy cream, cheese,
Yeah.
if you're dairy tolerant. So you can do it like that. I didn't realize that. I didn't start doing this research until we started using exogenous ketones. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, oh my God, I've been doing it all wrong all along.
Yep.
So
Me
I
too.
think today I could do it without the ketones, but why?
Why? Why would you want to do something like that?
Yeah, I kind of see it as like I drive now a Cadillac or I drive a Lexus instead of a VW Bug. I can still get here to there in a VW Bug, and I
Yeah.
might think I'm cool and trendy if I do, but we still get from here to there. Our bodies are still working, and I just have air conditioner and I have like a smooth ride instead
It's
of
a lot more
a
comfortable, isn't
Flintstone
it?
car, right? I think of VWs. I love VWs. Don't get me wrong. I have a friend that really loves VWs, but I see them like that Flintstone ride, right? My feet are underneath running to get me where I need to go.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It's a smoother ride for sure.
All right. So that is our message today for Candid Keto, where we talk about all things keto. We hope you enjoyed our show. If you have any subjects that you'd like us to explore,
Yes.
send it to us in the messages below or private message. We want to talk about the things you want to hear about, and we have lots of fun when we do.
Yeah, we do. All righty. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Bye-bye.